What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got a special client interview today with my guy, AJ. AJ's been in the program for a little bit over 6 months now, and super excited to bring him on. But won't steal your thunder, man. Why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, and we'll go from there.
What's going on, everybody? AJ Martucci. Been in the program about 6 months now. It's been great.
Sweet. Well, I appreciate you coming on, dude. We got a lot to cover today, but why don't you go ahead and start off by telling everybody, kind of where you come from, your background, things like that.
Yeah, so I'm in New York. Baseball player growing up, pitcher. I played a little bit in college and became a baseball coach. I'm currently a teacher. And I started coaching the school team, and I never wanted to do lessons. And I used to have parents ask me about it because they knew my background, and they would say, "Hey, like I'd love for you to work with my son one on one." And pitching is hard. It's very tedious, and a lot of kids, a lot of people just aren't committed to the little work that has to go into it for it to really be effective. So I really never wanted to do it, and then I told a lot of people no, and I had a couple of people that were really persistent on it, and good people, good kids, and I said, all right, this kid might actually be committed to this. So I started working with a couple of them, and they got good results, and it was a good feeling for me selfishly. And the parents very thankful, the kid was very thankful, and then like word of mouth kind of spread from there. And then I slowly started building a nice clientele, working with some good people, and it just got to a point where I really enjoyed doing it, but my time was extremely limited, and working a full-time job all day and then like going to the batting cages all night, sometimes getting home 9, 10 o'clock at night to have dinner is tough. And it's something that, I'm young enough now and I can do that. But like I don't want to do that the rest of my life. And it's really hard to scale that. And having such good information that should be out there, but not really knowing how to get it out there was definitely a challenge. And when I found you and we started having these conversations, like a lot of it made sense, and we kind of just took it from there, and it's been amazing.
Yeah. I appreciate you, dude. And you definitely have a really interesting story of the fact that like you didn't want to get into coaching. Neither did I when I got done playing. Um, you got a job, so did I. And then yeah, now you're like, dude, this online thing is kind of cool. And you've done a lot of different things. I mean, if you want to go maybe a little bit more in depth in terms of like, where you were at when we first met and like the different things that you were doing.
Yeah, sure. So I have a lot of interests, I guess you could say. I mean, I've always really liked fitness. I've always really liked bodybuilding, obviously baseball as well. That was always something, even growing up and going through high school and college, that was tough for me in terms of training. Like there were times I'd really be into like fitness and like bodybuilding, and there were times where it's like, no, baseball, and it's you have to pick one if you really want to get good at it. And it's just funny that it just follows you in life, and later on, like now I'm trying to do some of these training businesses, and I'm doing personal training, and I'm doing baseball lessons, and it's like sometimes I'm going from one to the other. I'm doing two baseball lessons, then I'm going to the gym to train somebody, then I'm going back to the cages for baseball. And it's all good until you really want to start making it better or scaling it. And the old Chinese proverb, he who chases two rabbits catches none, right? It's something I always try to keep in mind, even though I go against it constantly. Um, and when we first spoke we did like an hour Zoom and asked you a lot of good questions. I mean, I was like, this guy's pretty legit. And I was still skeptical because I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this. Because at that time I was like, I really like the fitness more. That business was going a little bit better and it was more enjoyable. And I was like, okay, like I don't really want to do this baseball thing if I'm not all in it. And you were even like, listen, it sounds like you like to do fitness more. So maybe this isn't for you. And, you can look up a couple different things that I recommend for fitness, and we'll touch base if we need to or something. And I was just like, yeah, like, all right, hung up the phone or the call. And I was like, all right. And about a week or two went by, and like, I was thinking about it a lot. And I was like, you know what? Like, I really do think I can do this, and I started seeing like some of the testimonials that you were putting up. And like, I don't know these people, and it's no shade on them, but I'm like looking at some of these guys. I'm like, listen, if this guy's doing this, like, I could definitely do this. Like, like I think I have a better background than some of these people. I think I have stronger work ethic than some of these people. And like, I could definitely produce better content. So like, maybe I'll give this a shot. So we scheduled another call, got on there. I mean, I knew I was going to buy and join. So I just asked you a few more follow-up questions. We spoke not that long and then jumped right in the program, and it was a lot of work, to be honest with you. Like, I think that's something that maybe not a lot of people realize, but it was a lot of work, but it was something I wanted to do. So like, there were days putting in like 10, 12-hour days on the computer and filming and editing in the beginning where like you don't even have anything to show for it. Like, you're not making money, you're not like even selling or like working with anybody. At least when I'm doing in-person stuff, like, you're getting money instant, you're getting that dopamine hit, like I just made money. Whereas with this in the beginning, it was very much like, okay, this is your checklist. Like, you have to get all these things done. When you get all those things done, we'll get on another call and then we'll worry about the next things. So like, you're working for hours trying to do this correctly, trying to learn all this stuff on the computer that like I'm so with, but I have learned a lot since doing this, and it's hard. And like anything, like, you get to points where you're like, is this really worth it? Like, why am I doing this? Like, where's the end result in this? And just kept at it because I'm just a committed person, I think. And when I made my first sale, and it was a kid across the country in Iowa, and he was completely thankful for it and was like, I'm ready to go. I was like, wow, this is real. Like, this actually works. Like, this is awesome. Like, because I never thought that people who hadn't met me in person would want to work with me. Right. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm thinking of back in my day, I guess, which wasn't really that long ago. But like, I wouldn't think to ever work with somebody like online. But like, now thinking back on it, like, I wish I had a coach like myself or like other people in the program that I had that opportunity to work with, because you're really limited with in-person people depending on your demographic. Like, some guys are lucky, some guys are just born blessed, and they have great high school coaches, or they have great travel coaches, or their dad played minor league ball and can really help them. And then other guys, like, it's just not the case, and they just don't have access to the same resources and coaches and stuff. So I think this definitely closes the gap in that sense. And it's honestly, it really hit me when I started getting like feedback from people in my program, like 6 weeks in, 3 months in, and they're like, yeah, like, this changed my life. Like, XYZ type of result. I'm out of arm pain. I'm throwing faster. Like, I made this team. And like, the parents are on the call with me, and they're telling me like, this has been great. Like, we're so happy we did this. And he has something to do every day, and he's so disciplined and so driven. And like, I'm sitting there on the other end, like, wow, like, this is really cool. Like, that's not really the stuff you're thinking of in the beginning when you're just trying to build something that, like, I hope this makes sense. And then to actually have that type of impact on someone you never even met in person that's across the country, like, it's truly incredible.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing because I know we talk about a lot about like building a business and marketing and sales and stuff like that, but I think that's one of the best parts about it is understanding that like you really can help people even if you're not right there, you know? Would you say that that's like a common belief that a lot of coaches have?
What, that they can't help people if they're not there?
Yeah.
I would say, yeah. I'm sure you've had coaches too that just have this feeling that they have to be in control of every aspect, and they're not able to kind of like step away and let the players do what's necessary, or even let the players fail. Like, even in my in-person sessions where like might be a younger kid, 12, 13-year old, and I'm catching the bullpen and I'm giving pitching tips, and the kid throws 5 bad pitches in a row, and like, I don't say anything. Like, I'm like, yo, you got to figure it out. Whereas I've seen and I've experienced other coaches where like, you throw one bad pitch and like, they're all over you. Like, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, and it's just like, that's not going to work. At least in my opinion. Like, sometimes you just got to work through it. And I really like the aspect of like, the accountability is on the kid with the remote program. Like I say, like I'm giving you the roadmap. Like it's up to you to follow it. Like if you don't do the program, it's not going to work. I'm telling you right now. But if you do it, like it's incredible. And like I offer a money back guarantee where like if you're not satisfied, I'll fully refund you or I'll work with you for free until you get the result we agree on in the beginning. And like knock on wood, like over 15 athletes and nobody's asked for a refund yet. It's all been positive feedback. So it's a really good feeling.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, dude. And you're very like you're very much person who like you want to help people. You're a high school are you a high school teacher?
High school teacher, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's tough. I tip my cap to you. You're but like you're just the guy that wants to help people, man. So what would you say were like the biggest things that you feel like you learned throughout the program?
Um, a lot of like beliefs, like shaping people's beliefs in terms of like just kind of asking them questions and letting them discover the answer rather than being like, no, you're wrong. Like this is the reason. Instead of giving them like this or that questions or saying like, oh, like, well, why would you do that? Like, do you really think that that's better? Like, why do you think that's better? And just asking like in a common voice. And honestly, it's a lot of what I do dealing with kids in my day job as a teacher. Um, because I'm speaking with kids the same age oftentimes. And I'm not looking to be combative. I'm looking to learn and I want them to learn as well. I mean, that was definitely a big part and I guess what did you ask me again? What the best benefits were? Things I learned?
Or yeah, just like things you learned.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like how to build a business and like how to manage all like the logistical stuff behind it in terms of like what marketing looks like how to run advertising, how to run targeting advertising to like people that you actually want to sell to or have your stuff in front of, not just in front of a broad audience of anybody. Um, Content creation, like how to edit content, how to film the stuff. Like all my stuff is done on my iPhone, like which is pretty cool. I mean, I've hired professional filming before, but 99% of my stuff is all done and edited on my iPhone, which is like pretty amazing. Like that you're even able to do that. Even like using Zapier, like I've had situations where like I'm driving or like I'm out somewhere, like out to dinner, and like a kid buys a program that like we just had a call 6 hours ago and he was waiting to finalize the 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 program with his parents and they finally put the payment through so they could start the program and like Zapier is sending him emails and like getting them right in the program. Whereas when I first started, like I didn't know about that stuff. So like I'm doing all that stuff manual and like I don't want these people to think I'm scamming them if I'm like, oh, thanks for your money. Like I'm out right now. Like I'll send it to you in 6 hours. Like they're gonna be like, wait, what? Like, what is this? Like, cause that's how I would be. Like again, I'm from New York, so I'm always thinking like people are on the catch. But yeah, I mean, definitely a lot. Like shaped my ideas of a lot of things. Like even with my fitness page that I've kind of put on hold now because like we've talked about like really just trying to focus on one thing. Like I was able to build my fitness page to almost 4,000 followers in less than a month, just following principles I learned in this program. So I
Yeah.
mean, obviously it works.
Yeah. So you would say that the skills that you learned and the concepts that you learned are more than just here's how to sell stuff to kids on the internet.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the other big thing is like I'm selling a program that I know that works. Like I was talking to my good friend that's in real estate and I'm talking about how I did this program and he played baseball as well. So like he was like all about it and like learning. And he was like, you're selling something that you know works and you believe in. He's like, you know how many people out here are selling things that they know is a scam or they don't even believe it's going to work. They're just hoping it works. Like you need to use that to your advantage. And I was like, yeah, like that makes sense. Like even the program creation, like I had said to you early on, like, listen, I'm a teacher. Like I taught during the whole like pandemic and like on Zoom and like that just wasn't productive in a lot of ways. So like I don't think like that would work in terms of like training people remotely. And you're like, no, you could build an online program. video assets, video library. You build out individual workouts for them. Like it's completely personalized. And like then when I learned more about it, I was like, oh wow, like this is legit. And then I remember I said to you, like, so what do I put in the program? And you were just simply like, what do you teach these kids in person? And I was like, that makes sense. And I just started brainstorming ideas in a notebook, like filming a bunch of stuff. Another big aspect you said to me was ask your clients what they want. Like, what would they want in a program? Like, they're going to tell you. So at that time, like I had 12 active clients and I reached out to all of them and I said, like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Like, would you be interested in learning more? And like, if I were to do something like that, like, what would you want to see? And like, I got great feedback on that in terms of like all different aspects of pitching, not just like mechanic stuff that we do in person, like strength training, mobility, um, arm care stuff. And it's again, it's truly been great.
Yeah. Yeah. What what would you say the feedback has been thus far from your athletes when, maybe you're providing more than just like a one-on-one session? Like how would they say it compares to like their training that they've typically been doing?
So one of the big things I get from guys is like, oh, like my coach gives us a strength training program. And I'm like, okay, great. Like your coach gives you a strength training program, like based on your needs. I'm like, well, like, like we all get a packet. And I'm just like, okay. So like similar to when I was coming up, like you're going to give the same packet to the kid who's 5'5", to the kid who's 6'2", to the kid who's 200 pounds, to the kid who's 350 pounds. And like, do you really think that that's going to maximize your potential? And like the obvious answer is no, it's not. So I've gotten great feedback, especially from parents as well of kids in the program that like are insistent on getting on like my check-in calls to be like, hey, like we were a little skeptical of this at first because it's like a new idea, but like he loves it and like it's great. Like we don't have to like go to a facility at a certain time and like drive there. Like we can get this done at home. Like you're very accessible. Like you can talk to him every single day if we want to. The video feedback is great. Like if he doesn't understand something, you're quick to respond. And the flexibility is just really good for them. And then with my younger clients, like I have some people I made like kind of like a youth program that's like a little bit like watered down in terms of like there's no lifting and stuff. It's just like basic mechanic drills. And the feedback I get from those parents is like it's great. He does it on his iPad. And like I'd much rather have him doing that than like the other stuff he's doing on his iPad, where whether it's like watching YouTube videos or like playing games. Like at least he's like doing something productive and he's doing push-ups and sit-ups and like we don't have to tell him to do it, like he wants to do it and it's scheduled out for him and like you can talk to him on there and it's great. Like and I'm like, wow, like this was stuff I didn't even think of when I started this. Like I was like, hey, I think I can help these kids and I'm going to try this out and we'll see where it goes. And just hearing like those different types of feedback is like, wow, like this really is cool.
Yeah. No, dude, you've really taken to it. And I know you were mad skeptical because you're from New York, but thank you for trusting us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 100%. I mean, listen, your program is literally how I structure mine, where it's like, I'm going to give you the roadmap, like, and it's up to you to follow it. And like, if you don't follow it, it's not going to work. Like, it's very black and white. It's very simple.
Yeah. What, in terms of like the overall results of like, let's say the past 6 or 7 months, like what does that kind of looked like after actually like being in the program, actually applying yourself, doing the work, getting the help you need, things like that?
Results in what way? What do you mean?
I guess like how many athletes have you signed up? Like what are the results of what are the results of those athletes? Things like that.
Oh, no, I've to date, excuse me, to date, I've signed over 15 athletes in the program, just from the program, not people that I had prior, like hybrid type or in-person type. Um, and it's been great. I've had guys gain up to 10 miles per hour in a couple months, high school guys. I have a middle school guy that was complaining of like bad arm fatigue, bad elbow issues. And like literally a month in, like he said he's throwing pain free and like now he's starting to add some velocity and he's able to command the zone a little bit more. Um, to guys that are like, hey, like I have a good arm, but like I didn't realize how tight my hips were until I started doing the mobility routine every day. And now when I throw, I just feel like so much more free and easy. And it's one of those things where it's like, for me, selfishly, I'm like, again, like I wish I had this when I was 13, 14, instead of worrying about like bench press and long toss and like just trying to copy what I see on TV. I mean, I did the best I could with what I had, but I'm like, wow, like I wish I had a lot of this stuff at that age. And like, honestly, that's really what motivates me to keep going with these kids. Cause it's like, hey, like, what would I have wanted? Like, I know that there's kids out there that are like me, and like, I truly do want to help them, cause they deserve it. You know, not everybody's blessed with God-given ability. Not everybody's blessed with like the best coach or something like that in their area. And the opportunity's there if you want it. So, you know, there's really no excuse nowadays.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think online training is like is like making the playing field a little bit more level.
Oh, 100%.
I know you came out here to Arizona a few weeks ago. How did you enjoy it?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, the only thing I regret is not being out there for the full time because I just couldn't get off my day job. But being out there for those few days, like meeting everybody in person that we talk all the time on group calls, like was really cool. And then just like either just side conversations with people about like, hey, I'm trying this, I'm trying that. Like, hey, how do you run this type of ad, or what kind of like content are you posting? And then like when you had like those people that would speak or the classes, whatever you want to call them, like it was great to like ask people questions in real time. And like you gave us like those cool leather notebooks. Like that was a nice touch, with the
Thanks.
personalized note. Like still have that. I like that type of stuff. And no, it was really cool. I mean, you could really tell that you actually care. Like it wasn't just like hey, I'm gonna do this and just hype myself up and get in, get out type thing. Like I could tell like you put a lot of thought into this. You invested a ton of money into that event. You took us all out to eat, like, and I know it wasn't cheap, and like there was never a question of like, I don't know about this place or you can't, or like it was none of that stuff. It was like, hey, like we're all here to have a good time, and you guys are my team. And kind of like I felt like what I tell my athletes, especially the early ones, like, hey, like you guys believed in me and like took a chance on me. So like I'm gonna give you all that I have. And like that's the sense I get from you, honestly, in this situation where, you know, you opened up your home to these people that you never met in person. Like that's pretty wild. Like I would never do that, just to be honest with you. Like I would never do that. And you did that, and like it was just an awesome event. Love going out there. Like I was in Arizona like over 10 years ago for baseball tournaments, so I know the climate really well, and I'm like, this is really cool. So it was just an awesome experience. I rented a Corvette. Like I still think about that like all the time. Like that was such a sick experience. And then since then, like I've sold like 4 or 5 programs, I think, maybe 6. Like I don't even know at this point. It's just been awesome. And like I just hope to keep going in that direction.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you, dude. Maybe I shouldn't just let random strangers come to my house anymore, but no, it was fun. I had so much fun. Um, in terms of like the overall program, who would you say that the program is for?
I would say it's for a sports coach, somebody who's doing lessons already or has a background in like whether it's instruction or teaching, and like really feels like they have something of value that they can give to kids or athletes of any age, whatever their niche is, and that they're willing to work. Like again, like I was somebody, and not to pat myself on the back, like I was somebody who's working full time and then putting in like 4 or 5 hours at the batting cages, like physically like throwing and catching with kids every single day. So like I had the work ethic of like, hey, like I want to do this the right way. Like I don't think it's for somebody who was like a great college baseball player that like now is working a 9 to 5 and has no experience teaching kids and is like, oh, like I'm just gonna do this. Like I'll flash my jersey online and like people are just gonna buy these programs from me. And like who cares if it's good because it has my name on it. Like I do truly feel like people do see through that, like 100%. Even kids, like you're talking to teenage kids through DMs on Instagram, like about the program, and like they could even tell, like, all right, like this doesn't seem right. Like of course you'll get some, but I don't think it's for people who aren't willing to put in the work. I truly do think like if you're willing to put in the work and you follow the modules, and then another big thing that I really realized is like the data collection is so big to like really see like where your bottlenecks are, and then just see like, hey, where can I improve? What am I doing well? Like what should I put more funding towards? Rather than just like random of like, oh, this is good, like anyone would buy. Because like honestly, like that's what I thought in the beginning. I was like, oh, like there's so many bad coaches, there's so many bad things out there that are just marketed well, that if I actually put out there something good, like it's gonna do killer. And like, like anything, there's ups and downs. And like I struggled, especially in the beginning, because like you just don't know what to expect. Like it's the unknown. And you're going in there and you're like, oh, like who's not gonna want this? And like you get on a Zoom call with a kid and he's like, oh, like, this is where I'm at now and this is where I want to be. And I'm like, okay, great. Like, let's get you there. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. And again, like, that's what brings me back to like when I was a kid. Like, I'm looking at these kids like, really? Like, why wouldn't you take this opportunity? Like, I would have killed for this opportunity. But what that tells me now is like, that kid's not right for my program. Like, he doesn't want it bad enough. So, like, why would I waste my time working with him? And, again, going back to what you do here, like if you have somebody who is really willing to put in the work and truly does want to change their life, like with this program and change the lives of other people, it's there for them to do. Like everything's there. The group calls, like the constant communication with you, with everybody in the community, and then all the modules. Like you can just go through those modules. Like for the first like month or 2 months, like I was going through those modules like every day, rewatching videos, like looking at stuff in the future, like just trying to learn as much as possible. And like it's all there for you. Like so again, like you give the keys to the car, like it's up to them to start it and drive it. So it's truly not for everybody. Um, but the people that want to do it and really have that belief in themselves and the confidence, like they will definitely succeed.
Yeah. What would you what would you say to that person who's like the perfect fit for our program, but they're a little bit on the fence right now? What would you say to them?
Mm, I mean, it depends what they're on the fence about. If like if it's like on the fence of like I don't know if I could put in the work, or like I don't know if I want to make the investment in myself, um, I would say it's totally worth it. Like it's not a crazy investment that's probably gonna like cripple your life. And it's something where like if you make an investment in yourself, like it's up to you to make it work. So like if you truly do believe you can do it, like it's totally worth jumping in on the program. Um, Again, if you think it's going to be done for you, like then don't do it. Like it's totally not worth it. But if you want to do it and you want, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? Like, what does this look like? Like, how can this be better? Like, that's all right there for you. So if you're at a point where like this is a must for you, like Tony Robbins talks about, like this has to be a must, like I need to make this happen, then it's really a no-brainer to join.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that because I can say it so much, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, dude, we have the blueprint, like it's literally right here. I don't know what else to say. Look at all of our testimonials, look at all of our case studies,
Yeah.
and we still get objections, and I think it's hilarious. So I appreciate you sharing that. Um, what's your plan for the future, dude? I know you got some things going on.
Yeah, so I just want to keep making this as good as it can be. I'm constantly looking at different aspects of the program that can be better. There's definitely some things I want to refilm with a professional camera and just maybe get different angles and just more clarity. Just again, because like my clients deserve it. I just want to keep moving forward and keep doing this in a positive light. Like I was invited to the Italian American Baseball Federation gala in a few weeks that I'll be at. I actually have a sponsorship in the Journal, which will be cool. Get to
Congrats.
meet some cool people, hopefully. Um, and then just keep trying to do right by people and see where it takes me. Like this is fun. Like, it's not work. Like I have a job, like a real job, and like that's work. And that can be fun sometimes too. But like this is like something I do want to do. And it does remind me of being a baseball player. Like when I was chasing that dream of playing in the major leagues, which I didn't get to the major leagues, but that was my dream. And I thought about that every single moment of every day. So like it was easy for me, like on 2 hours sleep at 9 o'clock at night, like to practice or to do something to get better. And like this is very similar to that, where it's like, hey, like, what are some content ideas? Like, let me write this down. Like, let me get some editing done. Like, well, I have 20 minutes. Um, it's not something I feel like I have to do. I'm not obligated to do it. No one's forcing me to do it. And I'm just excited to see where it goes because I really do think like authenticity sells and it might not sell right away, and that's fine. But in the long run, like if you're authentic, like I truly do think you'll go further than people that are just in it for like a hot second and like trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. And that's my motivation with this as well. Like, hey, I just want to be authentic. I want to be real. Like there's parts of my story that I'm not happy with and issues that I struggled with. And I got Tommy John surgery. Like I'm not going to shy away from that and not talk about that. I'm happy to talk about like what I learned from that. And, we'll see where it goes. I mean, I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Maybe start with getting rid of all the other stuff you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on it. Like I said, I'm working on it. Definitely, I haven't posted on my fitness page in a while. I stopped building that app out for now. Um, Cutting down on the in-person lessons, really converting more people to hybrid. And the in-person lessons, I'm really trying to condense to one day rather than like 2 hours today, 1 hour tomorrow, 3 hours a day after that. And it's good. I mean, now I'm doing a winter clinic on Sundays that I added. But that's just 1 hour Sunday morning, and that's been cool. Um, but yeah, again, like we'll see where it takes me.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up here?
Ah, no, I think we covered it all. I can't think of any like witty one-liner to throw at you to end this, but but it's been great, man. I truly do appreciate you and all you've done, and this program really has been great, and I've told a lot of people about it, and um, I don't think any of them have signed up yet, which is whatever. But again, it's not for everybody. So it's very simple, when it becomes a must for people, then I think they'll hop on. But nah, man, I'm excited to see the future of where you take this as well. I'm happy to be kind of part of the beginning aspect. I mean, I know like I signed on when you were easily less than a year in, right? Like,
Yep.
uh, so I mean that's cool for me. Like I revel to be part of that.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we're taking the fuck over.
That's
No,
awesome.
man, I appreciate you jumping on. If somebody wants to ask you how much I paid you to get on this interview, I'm just kidding. If somebody wants to reach out to
I
you,
wish that I would have taken some money.
where
No,
can
I'm
they
kidding.
find you?
So you can find me on my new Instagram because Meta messed up my other one. Hope they don't see this and mess up this one now. But I had over 9,000 followers on my Martucci baseball account. And I just started having real issues with it. That was a total waste of time. Made the hard decision again after Arizona, talking to people like, hey, just start over. Like, you know what you're worth. Like, make it happen. And now I started over, and now I'm at martucci.bsbl on Instagram. I'm at almost 1,000 followers, which is cool. But I've reposted a lot of content. I filmed a lot of new content on there as well. YouTube, I'm at, if you just search AJ Martucci training, it should come up. I'm working on adding some more long form YouTube content as well. So yeah, and I don't think I said it, but I work with undersized pitchers because I'm a guy that's under 6 foot. That was a right-handed pitcher and was overlooked my whole life as a pitcher, just because I didn't throw hard enough and because I wasn't big enough. And I played with and against guys that are in the major leagues right now and played Division I baseball. And I couldn't even get looks from these coaches when I was throwing shutouts because I was, 5'9", 5'10", throwing 83, 84 and getting strikeouts and not walking guys. But Division I coaches don't want that, especially from a right-hander. So I had to make myself more valuable and add some velocity. And that's what my program is about, adding some healthy velocity to these young kids, and especially the undersized guys that I know I can relate to that are constantly doubted and overlooked, and just having that feeling of coming in next season as a totally different player, which is the ultimate feeling. That's really what I'm trying to sell, is just that ultimate feeling of, hey, like I'm a totally different person now, and like now I'm dominant, and like that is, to me, that's the best feeling in the world, because that was me for a small moment in time, and it's something I do think about often.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that.
Of course, dude.
That's why we do what we do, right? Like we want to help people that were, where we used to be, avoid the mistakes that we made. That's why I do what I
100%. That's
do.
how we move forward, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So we can wrap up here unless you got anything more to say.
No, that's it, man. Again, I appreciate it. Doing a great job.
Absolutely, man. Well, I just want to say thank you, dude, for, you know, obviously coming out here and for renting that Corvette. I think that was a big baller move.
Yeah,
And
I'd love to go one, man. One day.
yeah, it's visualization, bro. Everything happens twice. You see it in your mind and then it happens in front of you. But
100%.
I just want to say thank you, bro, for your hard work and for your trust. I know you're skeptical, so glad I could win it over. I'm always selling, but I
I respect it. I respect the hustle, man.
appreciate you. But if you're a coach and you want to learn how you can expand your training business online, booking a call with me or my team in the description below. But AJ, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for jumping on.